Your wedding photos were picked up last week, the photographer said. Our wedding is next month. I stood there in the studio holding my phone with the appointment reminder still glowing on the screen. I'm sorry, what did you just say? The photographer looked confused and pulled up something on his computer screen. Your fiancé picked them up last Tuesday. He said you wanted them early for the rehearsal dinner slideshow you were planning. My fiancé Theo had never mentioned anything about a slideshow. He had never mentioned picking up photos that did not exist yet. Our wedding was scheduled for October 15th and it was currently September 8th. Can you describe him? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady and calm. Tall guy, dark hair, nice smile. He had your deposit receipt and everything, so I didn't question it. That was not Theo. Theo was average height with sandy blonde hair. Theo would never be described as having a nice smile because Theo barely smiled at all anymore. My hands started trembling as I gripped the counter for support. Can I see the receipt he showed you? The photographer pulled up his records and showed me a scanned document on his monitor. It had my signature on it, a signature I had never written in my entire life. He also asked for copies of the venue confirmation and the guest list contacts, said you needed them for some last-minute changes to the arrangements. I felt like I was going to pass out right there in the studio. Someone had been impersonating my fiancé. Someone had access to our wedding details. Someone had forged my signature convincingly enough to fool this professional. I drove home in a complete daze. Theo was at work, so I had the apartment to myself. I started going through everything with shaking hands. The wedding binder, the email confirmations, the vendor contracts. That is when I noticed charges on our joint credit card that I did not recognize. Deposits to vendors I had never heard of. Payments to a wedding venue in a completely different city. Hotel reservations for dates that did not match our timeline at all. I called the first unfamiliar number with my heart pounding in my chest. Paradise Resort. How may I help you today? Hi, I'm calling about a wedding reservation under my name. I gave her my information while holding my breath and waiting. Oh yes, the wedding is this Saturday, correct? Everything is confirmed. Your fiancé called yesterday to add extra guests to the list. Saturday. This Saturday. Someone was getting married using my identity in 4 days from now. I hung up and called Theo immediately. We need to talk right now. Something really bad is happening. He came home an hour later looking annoyed at being pulled away from work. What's so urgent? I was in an important meeting. I showed him everything. The fake photo pickup, the forged signature, the mystery wedding happening on Saturday. His face went completely white as he processed what I was telling him. That's not possible. Theo, who has access to our wedding information, who knows our vendors and passwords. He sat down heavily on the couch and put his head in his hands. I need to tell you something. My blood ran cold as I waited for him to continue speaking. 6 months ago, I got a message from someone claiming to be an old friend of yours. She said she was planning a surprise party for you and needed some details. I sent her the vendor list and some planning documents because I wanted to help. You gave our wedding information to a complete stranger? She knew things about you, your birthday, your parents' names. I thought she was legitimate. I felt sick to my stomach. What was her name? Theo scrolled through old messages with trembling fingers. Portia. She said you were college roommates. I never had a roommate named Portia. I lived at home during college. Someone had researched me thoroughly and manipulated my fiancé into handing over everything they needed to steal my identity. We called the police immediately. The next 3 days were complete chaos. They tracked the payments and the fake venue reservations across multiple states. They traced the credit card fraud. They identified the woman who picked up the photos and forged my documents. Her name was actually Portia. She was Theo's ex-girlfriend from 8 years ago, the one he said ended things amicably. She had been planning this for 2 years, creating fake accounts, researching my entire life, waiting for Theo to get engaged so she could destroy everything we built together. The police arrested her at the fake wedding venue on Saturday morning wearing a wedding dress.